Welcome to another episode of Investing in Intellectual Property with Dave. Today, we have a very special guest with us. We go to Denmark and talk to a gentleman who has built a company based on his product line that allows users to develop stronger respiratory muscles. Please help me welcome the founder and CEO of Airofit, Christian Poulsen.
It's going great. It's going great.
And I apologize. I didn't ask you this beforehand, but is your last name pronounced Poulsen or?
Poulsen.
Poulsen. Okay. Great. No, I was getting off into, your story in preparation for this interview, and you it's a pretty unique story. It's a pretty cool story that I can't wait for you to share and kind of go through your journey. But I guess, and I have a thing that I wanted to add. You're describing, I like to have the guests describe their product at the beginning, just so the audience can get an idea of what the product is and I guess how it works. So can you maybe start off by describing your product?
Yeah, sure. The product called Airofit, it is two parts. It's a hardware part with
you have a pace here.
With different resistance in and out, and electronic part with you have sensors with connection to a smartphone app, and the smartphone app have all the knowledge of the breathing experts of the world. And what you actually do is you start by doing a lung test. So you measure the vital capacity of your lungs. So how much air can you get in and out of your lungs? Then you measure the strength of your breathing muscles. How strong are you in and how strong are you out? Your inhalation and your exhalation, which is called MEP and MEP. And so then you have these three very, very fundamental measurements of your lungs. When you know that, you know a lot about you and your respiration. And when you have done that, then you can start by doing the training. So we have a whole range of different trainings for different purposes. If you're a footballer, if you're a tennis player, if you just want to relax or whatever, then we have a training for you. And then you do the training, and then you get better numbers, you improve in vital capacity and strength. And that pans out to your sport or your relaxation or whatever you do.
No, absolutely. And that's great. Thanks for sharing that. So I guess with respiratory muscle training, I think I was maybe watching a previous interview that you had, and you had talked about people not doing the training simply because they do not provide feedback, inspiration, training, gamification. I guess at what point did you, come to that conclusion? And was that by maybe people giving you feedback, or was it by kind of your own experience? Because I think that's true as you kind of really think about it, as far as, especially in this day and age where people want this gamification or this feedback and this kind of back and forth between the product and yourself, just so you can kind of track where you are, as opposed to using something without kind of knowing what's going on.
Yeah. So maybe I should start by telling you the story of how.
Okay. No. Yeah. Absolutely.
But
yeah.
Then it comes more natural, actually. So I'm an educated classical singer by training, and also opera, and I'm also educated economist by training, and I always done a lot of sports. And that was actually on a badminton court. One of my friends came by with an old device made by a Danish medtech company for asthma and COPD patients, and I actually have it here, so you can see it.
Really?
Yes, it's manometer with breathing fluids and capsules for different resistance in and out.
Gotcha.
And it was very unhandy, and it was very low tech, but it worked. So actually, the principle worked. So I bought it. I bought the rights to the whole world, and then I have 3 sons, all elite swimmers, and the oldest one qualified for the national, the Nordic championships in swimming as a junior. And I urged him to train with this old device, and he did that for 3 months. And then he went to Sweden and returned with 7 gold medals as my far best athlete. And I knew, all right, this principle is something special, but we need to do something about it because I have to be a part of it all the time.
Yep.
So we need to have intelligence, gamification, data points, and all the best experts involved.
Gotcha. So that would seem like that was something as far as kind of the feedback and the gamification, something that maybe you said, I guess you came to the conclusion that, hey, if this thing is going to work and work on a massive scale, then we need to kind of inherit, or not inherit, but we need to incorporate these type of features into the system. I guess it's interesting because I know I was reading that you had bought the rights to a device that essentially had the principle of it. And I think this is a big point, especially for the audience members. What happened as far as you being in that situation, I guess, to buy the rights? Because that's, I guess, atypical, I would say, when you're talking about, and people maybe don't really understand it. I know I had a doctor here, Dr. Dave Smith, who made the Q collar, and it's worn by professional athletes here in the U.S. and abroad. I know some of the NFL players or the American football, they kind of wear it to prevent concussions. And again, it's any contact sport, whether it's lacrosse or hockey or football, and it helps you kind of prevent concussions to your head. But he was talking about how he had he kind of got his start in I guess you could say entrepreneurship by buying a patent on a wound care company. So I guess, I'm saying all that to say, how did you put yourself in a position where, okay, your son was using it, or you were, I'm not sure if you said you were using a device, but then,
I was using also, of course, but he was the important part, right? Yeah, but the patent part, actually, there was an old patent from the old company, but it was expired at that time when I actually bought the product and the rights. But for the new product that we developed, we used 4 years, and all my money and my friends' money and investors' money, you know the song, right? And then we developed the new version with the app and the electronics and new hardware and things like that. And we knew from the start that we wanted to be a global company. And if you want to be a global company, you need to have IP. That's period. Otherwise, there are people that are more clever, they're more rich, they have better channels, they have everything that is better than you do. So you need to protect yourself with the IP. So we actually very, very early in the process defined what should be our unique points. And it's not that easy because there's some things that you think, oh, that's only us who have done that invention. And then you go to a patent lawyer like you and say, hey, I have this. And no one else says that, yeah, sorry about that. But there's this one, and that one have already done that and claimed patent on it. So you really need to find the right people to help you. Especially the first patents you do, you really need help in order to do it right.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yes, you are our first guest from across the pond here. So how even was that challenge? Because we know a lot of people want to at least file a patent application, not only in Europe, but as well in the U.S. is a big market for protecting the IP because they want to sell the invention here. So I guess how was that experience for you? Did you automatically think, hey, I need to sell this thing in the U.S., or was it, hey, we were going to sell it in Denmark as the main market, but we're going to expand eventually out into the U.S.? How did you kind of come up or go through that process?
We were thinking global from the beginning. Okay. So we said, all right, we would have two main markets. Yep. That would be Europe, and that would be North America. Then we would have the other markets, and so we I think if you could. Now there's a new regulation on patents in Europe where you can actually claim the whole Europe instead of taking it country by country.
Yep.
That is a long ride. So we took Europe, we took US, we took Canada, we took South America, so we went on, and Asia, Russia, not just that for anymore, but China, Japan. So we went for the big markets from the beginning, because if you don't do that, you cannot do it afterwards. You need to decide in the beginning which markets would you go for. Then you, of course, in the early beginning, you can take the national, but there's a point of no return where you need to choose, and then you have to pay. Unfortunately, but we have the decision from the beginning. We needed to take all the important markets.
So it seems like, and just for the audience, seems like you may have filed what is called a PCT application, where it essentially allows you to go into the member states of the PCT, which is Europe, which is America, Canada. A lot of countries are members of the Paris Cooperation Treaty. I think that's what PCT stands for. So you can file a PCT application, which, to your point, is not cheap. And then, but in that certain time frame, 30 minutes from your earliest priority date, you have to go into, so it gives you a little bit more time, but you have to start going into each individual country, and from the EPO standpoint, you can go into that region as a whole, as opposed to going to individual countries. You have to, at some point in time, like you said, that point of no return, where you have to go into each one of those countries, and then you still have to pay that individual countries, patent fees and things like that. So the process can get a little bit expensive, but you're saying from the beginning, it was that the whole point, it was a global company. So you knew that you were going to have to spend that money at the beginning, or you're going to have to spend that money to protect it in different countries throughout the world.
True. Yeah, that's true. And when we talk to investors, we often do, because we are the number one player. Maybe we are not the largest, but we have the by far best technology, because we have a solution that gives much higher adherence than anyone else. We have the largest database of breathing with 32 million minutes trained. We have sold 130,000 units. US is actually our biggest market with 35-40% of all sales.
Wow.
And so when we talk to investors, and we do when they reach out to us, then maybe number 4 question, number 2 to number 5 question would always be, how's your IP situation? And fortunately, we can say it's great.
Nice. Yeah, it seems like saying the same thing that Dr. Dave Smith said. He's like, hey, as you're going to talk to investors, they're going to ask about the IP, and that's going to be one of their, like you said, their top, 2 to 5 questions. If you don't have IP, then they're likely are not going to, give you money or invest within the company, because they understand how important the IP is. And if you can't protect your IP, then what's keeping somebody else from coming into the market and doing the exact same thing that you're doing? I guess I maybe did wanted to ask, as far as the respiratory training muscle, because people always think, as far as respiratory training with regard to athletes and performers, but that's okay. Yes, you can, those type people can have respiratory training or use this device, but you can also use it for people who are just the everyday person who are, who's trying to increase their lung capacity. And then it seems like there's a number of health benefits that's associated with, increased, breathing capacity or strengthen respiratory muscles. Can you talk a little bit about that that? Because this is not just for the athletes, but everyday person can benefit off this technology.
Exactly. You're so right. We have one big weakness with Airofit training, and that is that it's actually working for so many purposes. And when you have that, people say, "Oh, you're the jack of all trades. You're no good. It doesn't work." That's what people. That's the perception most of the people are actually having. And we knew that from the beginning. So we said, "All right, then we just don't say everything. We just focus laser on." Because it worked for, I'm a classical singer, and the very first the test we made, that was some 30 classical singers in Denmark, 30 of the best, and they just exploded in how high and how deep they could pitch, and also the quality of voice. So we knew it worked for that. We knew it worked for asthma, COPD patients. We knew it worked for the mental part, stress. We knew it worked for athletes. So if you go out and say all that, people say, "Oh, yeah, of We got it, right? So we said, all right, fine. We will say all these things. We go laser for the high-end athletes as a beginning. So we have a lot of world champions in a lot of sports, biking, swimming, running, CrossFit, basketball, football, you name it. We got it, right? Free diving, all over. And we thought, all right, we start with the very best, and then we dribble down to the weekend warriors and everyday people. That was what we did. But what we have hoped for, that was maybe very naive. That was if the high-end athletes actually got the better performance, and they did. We can see that on our data, and we can see that in the performance, and we know at Tour de France or at World Champions in biking, that out of the 10 best, 7 are Airofit users. We know that. So we know that from a wide range of sports that the best are using it, but they don't tell about
it. They want to keep that advantage.
Yeah.
Competitive advantage.
So that great strategy of, okay, get the best one and make them talk. We got the best one. They didn't talk, right? So, but when we went down to the weekend warriors, that was different because they don't mind talk to it and on the same level. So we went to sport, and then we could eventually we went into relaxation, de-stress. Then we were hit by COVID, and we didn't reach out to any of these with long COVID, but suddenly we had Americans, English people, people from all over the world who will actually reach out to us, sending videos on Facebook and everywhere, saying, "Thank you, Airofit, you saved our lives." And of course, we didn't. They did it themselves. But what they actually did was they were hit by COVID, and then some of them got long COVID. And you know what happens? A lot of things happens, right? So it's not only one thing that happens, but what is related to the space we are in is that the lungs are like balloons, right? Yep. And the older you get, the stiffer they get. So at the long term, we will all get COPD if we live long enough. But you are in such a great shape, so maybe you will have to be 120. But some will get it when they're 50. If they smoke or if they get asbestos, they will get it faster. But so that is different things happens. But one important element is that the lungs are getting stiffer, and when they're getting stiffer, they cannot exchange so much gas as they can when they're young, and the lungs are flexible. So, but when you are getting long COVID, it's getting very fast, that progression or degression. And so you could have people having a vital capacity of 4 liters and suddenly have a lung capacity of 0.6 liters.
Wow.
That is critical, because then you don't function. You cannot do anything. You cannot walk the stairs. You cannot do anything. It's worse for normal first level of COPD. So what they actually did was, some of these guys got an Airofit, and they could not train as much as they should, but they could train 1 minute a day. But that actually was enough to get their lungs more flexible again.
Nice.
And restart their breathing machine. So a lot of these people said, I was down to 0.6 liters, for instance, and now I have 3 liters of my life back. Thank you so much.
Nice.
And that was that actually made my day all these times when that happened, because, all right, what we're doing is not just getting another gold medal for another athlete. It's actually saving lives and life quality and things for everyday people all over the world. That was really good.
So was that the story? Because I know I was reading a story that was fascinating, where it was an English gentleman that you were saying that he was using this during the pandemic, and he I think messaged you and said that he got his life back because this helped him so much. Was that one of the stories
Exactly.
there?
Yeah, exactly. That was the first. That he was the first one who sent us a video, but we got so many of those.
Really?
Mike from England, yes.
Oh, so did you see like a sales spike at that point in time? Just because, again, this is not something that, like you said, okay, it's one thing to get a gold medal for a high performing athlete, but to save lives, again, especially during that time that we went through, that was tough throughout the world. It seems like everybody who was going through that, or I guess maybe had issues with breathing and COVID or whatnot, would have wanted to get one of these things to increase the lung capacity to, overcome whatever challenges that they were going through at that point. So did you see like maybe a sales spike at that point in time?
Yeah. And we also saw, what we actually saw was in our data, we can see why are you doing the training, right? I'm playing basketball. I want to sleep better. I want less snoring or whatever. And then we could see, all right, health related to the lungs issues increased dramatically. So it was, and it has been from that point around 30% of our users that are actually having a lung issue. It can be long COVID, it can be COPD, but it can also be asthma in mice form or whatever. So we actually, we had an increase in that part. Unfortunately, we had issues with getting element. It's made in Denmark, but we still need to have plastic components imported so we can reduce it, right? So there was more people who wanted it, but it was more difficult to make it.
Nice. So I was going to, I guess, ask you at that point in time. I know you were saying earlier that 40% of the sales are maybe in the U.S. Do you know what percentage of, or what's the highest percentage of people using a product? Or is it for maybe sports, or is it for kind of health reasons, lung capacity? Like, do you know because I know you can see all that information via the app. So would you happen to know what the largest use of the product?
Yeah. So we have, I don't have the percentage in front of me, right? But so it will be a ballpark figures, right? But around 30% is lung health related. Then we have those high-end athletes. It's a very small percentage.
Okay.
But we have all the different kind of sports, and I would say maybe 40 to 40% is sport related. Then we have a lot of other different things. Then we have better sleep. We have relaxation. We have snoring. We have also some in singing. And some people are actually doing it of more, cosmetic reasons, because when you actually do this kind of training, you also train your abs. So they are getting more visible. So there's this whole range of others that is the last 30%.
Nice. And you talked about earlier, at least when the person who was maybe facing some COVID issues, they only had to do it, I think you said a minute a day. What's the typical duration that someone would have to? The great thing about it is it's portable, so it's not like you have to sit at home or sit on the couch. You can have it on the go. I would imagine maybe, I'm not sure if there's any preferred uses as far as maybe stand still as opposed to walking or doing physical exertions. But what is the average duration that someone needs to use this thing to see, just kind of better results or increased lung capacity? I guess over time, is it maybe 5 minutes a day, or maybe just a minute a day, or what's that duration that someone need to use?
Yeah. So what we actually recommend is 5 to 10 minutes a day.
Okay. That's not bad.
No, if you really want to make a big increase in athletic performance, You start by 5, then go to 10, then maybe 15 minutes. But if you are, I've always done a lot of sports, and the reason why I'm training now is I'm still doing sports, but I'm not in competitive level anymore, and I don't care about that. And
you and I both.
But 2 weeks ago, I had a drop off my Airofit training. I was actually not training for 3 to 4 weeks. And then, here at my office, I got a call from my wife. She said, Christian, I got to tell you something. What's that? If you don't start training with the Airofit again, you're going to sleep in the middle room. Okay. I start today. So actually, I started, and 3 days later, I stopped snoring.
Nice.
So that's the reason why I do the training. That is because it has a heavy impact on my snoring. It's for new users. It takes longer than 3 to 4 days. It maybe takes a couple or 3 weeks or so on, because there's muscle memory.
Yep.
So you need to build it from the ground if you haven't been training your respiratory muscles before. But we can see that it is actually working pretty good for that.
And that's what I was going to say. I would imagine that, like you said, you have this app where the user can see, as well as maybe you all on your end can see that, hey, this is working. You're having longer breathing periods or increased lung capacity. So, and I think that's maybe the genius thing about it. This is not just something that you're using and you're wondering whether or not it's working or not. You can, I would imagine, see the data to say, hey, this thing is actually working. I'm breathing longer. I'm breathing more efficiently. I'm being stronger, and it's showing you that data, which I would imagine is a game changer.
Exactly. Let me show you. So here is just an example in the app. This is my vital capacity, and you can see that actually there's a hole in the numbers, and that was the 3 or 4 weeks I talk about.
Oh yeah.
Actually, didn't train, so the numbers go down, right? And if you do the training again, it comes up. So you can follow your data in
nice.
This was vital capacity, inspiratory pressure, expiratory pressure, and so on. So you can actually follow the data.
Yep.
And there's a gamification period part of it also. So you can see, all right, how many days did you train in a streak? So this is kind of that as well. So yeah.
Now, I guess I have a question. So, because I think I was looking and it says you have maybe 100. You have a ton of users, 130,000 plus. I'm not sure if that's an accurate number or not. But can you maybe kind of with this whole gamification, can you maybe go into competition mode with other users to see who's maybe like has greater lung capacity? Is that something that the app provides?
That is that's very high on my wish list. We unfortunately we don't have that many developers, and we fight about them. I want this, and but I want that, and so. But it's very high on the wish list, and I think you're right. That is something we will go for that. Just a matter of time.
Nice. So I had a question to ask you. So, and because you would think, are we all breathing incorrectly, or is it like the muscles where I know when I try to work out 5 times a week, but if you take a week off or a couple weeks off, it seems like you feel it the next time you go work out. So is breathing similar to, or is breathing, do we get shortness of breaths, or the lung capacity, or I guess the lung muscles are not as efficient or as strong because we're breathing incorrectly as humans, or is it because we are maybe not using all the muscles of the lungs to breathe, if that makes sense?
Yeah. it's a very interesting question you have here. So there are several answers. So firstly, I don't know how it is in the US. I know how it is in the northern hemisphere of Europe.
Okay.
I would guess it would be the same in the northern part of the US, at least. We don't breathe correctly. I would say 80% of the Danes and the Swedes and Norwegians and English and guys like that breathe high costal. So when you breathe, it's like, and that's completely wrong. It looks great. You look super, super cool, but that's completely wrong. The right way to do it is breathe here.
Oh, okay.
And because that is how you do when you're a baby. All
Really?
Kids, yeah, all newborn kids breathe right. Then during the first years of your life, I don't get me started on this because I can talk for hours about this. But then you are unconsciously taught to breathe wrong. So we begin to breathe high costal, so we don't use the whole engine right, and that gives us lower performance, but it also gives us lower quality of life, not as good gas exchange as we could, and that means that also the brain is working less efficient. So this is actually pretty good, and you don't talk and speak and sing as well as you could. So if you use the whole machine right, you can speak and talk right. But if you don't do that, if you only breathe and talk from the top of your lungs, you only sound like this, and that is also how the rest of your body works.
Wow. Look, I'm not sure if you noticed, I played football at Michigan State University back in college, and man, I wish this thing was, or at least I knew about it back. My last year was 2011, and I wish I knew about this when I was in college, because this would have helped me a ton. I was one of those guys who, I was good for short distances, but just having that increased lung capacity, those strengthened those lung muscles, it would have helped me a ton playing football. But that's, man, I feel like I say that a lot with as I interview different people and they have different products. I mean, I wish I would have knew that 10 years ago or whatnot. Because I can see it makes complete sense what you're talking about. And I would imagine that if we're doing something incorrectly or not as efficiently or not the most optimal way, it kind of affects everything else we do. I didn't even think about, okay, how we talk and how the rest of our body is behaving and operating as a result of, I guess, the lung capacity not kind of, or we're not breathing in the correct way. So that's amazing. I hadn't thought about that.
No, and you know, when you, so it's also that there are different elements in that as well, right? So if you breathe right, so you're made a sprint, or you're made a speech, or you're made something else, then you have a very high tension in your body, and your best friend, the one you can rely on, who's always there, that's your breathing. So learn to breathe right. Then you can get in the right state of sensation, and you can get in the right relaxation mode, so you can do the next sprint, or you can take the right decision, or you can be at the best version. So that is what we haven't been talking about. So that is being the best you is so closely connected to breathe right. And we forget about that. We forgot about that in our society. And that is such an easy win. You don't need to go to the gym 8 hours a week in order to be able to breathe right. You just need to do it 5-10 minutes a day. Then you get to do it right, and it gives you a massive benefit. Wow,
that's crazy. I hadn't thought about that. I feel like I'm spending all this extra time at the gym now when I can just be just get in the device and just breathe in 5 minutes a day.
You should also go to the gym, right?
Right.
But you will get a better workout if you do the breathing right when you do the workout. And during the sets, if you do it right, you will just be a much better animal.
Yep. No, I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. No, absolutely. So maybe I had a question for you. I know you said that you were a classical singer, educated classical singer, and you're also an economist. So I guess an economist, they do deal with numbers, but when you kind of bought the rights to the device, maybe way back when, and then started the company, were you at all nervous, given that, hey, I wasn't necessarily kind of bred to be, I guess, a business guy or a business owner? Because again, I know you were kind of born in Copenhagen and just modest living, and then go on to be an educated classical singer and economist. How unprepared or prepared were you to kind of make that next transition, that next step, as far as being an entrepreneur and a business owner, which I would imagine is a lot different from, I guess, what you had experienced up until that point in life?
Yeah, I think that's also a really, really good question, and also a very difficult question. So being an entrepreneur, I think it's a gift, but it's if someone tries to tell you that it's a walk in the park, that's a lie. That's really a lie.
Run from that person, exactly.
So taking that decision is maybe not that hard, but sticking to it is really, really hard, because would I have had a much easier life if I didn't take that route? Yes. Would my wife be more happy with me? Yes. My kids, would they also be more happy with me if I just taking a 9-to-5 job? Yes, they would. Would I have made something that could actually make the world a better place and change some things that are really important? I don't think so.
All right.
But of course, you need to be able to be in the situation where things are very tough and people hate you, and how should I pay the payroll next week, and things like that. So things can be very, very difficult, and you cannot be prepared for it. Not really. Yeah. You just need to breathe and say, all right, I'll do it, and then I'll find a way, and kick back and stay strong, and one way you'll find a way.
No, and that's interesting, because as I was going to law school here in America, as somebody who try to make a good impression and kind of start off strong, you ask everybody, you ask lawyers and just everybody, and maybe Google and YouTube, of, hey, what can I do to prepare for law school, and what can I do to be better prepared and make sure I'm kind of getting off on the right foot? And everybody tells you the same thing. Hey, it's nothing you can do to prepare for it. Just enjoy your time, and when you get in it, just you're going to be in it, and you're going to learn. Trial by fire, whatever you want to call it. And I think that was true. Is law school was unlike anything that I had experienced up until that point in time, and just I wouldn't have been able to prepare for it even if I tried beforehand. It seems like it's a similar thing with entrepreneurship. But again, for as difficult as it is, we heard the stories as it relates to people, reaching out and sending you videos and saying, hey, you changed my life, you saved my life. So it seems like it does have this rewarding experience that I would say maybe it's worth it, in the end, compared to, like you said, maybe a 9-to-5. And yeah, that seems like, I'm not trying to maybe necessarily push people into I guess being an entrepreneur just for namesake, or just because I guess it's a cool thing to do right now. It was something that I guess I read of an interview that you did where you were saying, hey, my purpose, I think it was has turned into better breathing to the world. And from everybody I kind of talked to or interview, it seems like they have a solution to a problem that it just came to them or hit them one day, and they as you talked about being resilience and recovery, and they just kept going because they knew this thing was important, and then they was able to finally break through it. So it seems like if you have that, I guess, type of experience where you have something that is important to the world, maybe it's worth going for. Yeah, like you said, it's going to be difficult, it's going to be challenging, but it seems like it's also a rewarding experience, and just being able to make a difference, to the world, as opposed to just maybe kind of taking the easy way out. And that, like I said, that's if you believe you have this idea that it's important to get out to the world and can help the world positive, from a positive standpoint.
Yes, exactly. And if I should add another thing to it, Denmark, we are not as, I would say, entrepreneurial as our impression of what is going on in the US is. The land of the free and the strong, so we are maybe more, all right, the government will look after you, right? So that is the more social security part that we have in Denmark, right? Yeah, and that's true. If you are a Danish citizen, you have this confidence in the government. Most of us actually do that. All right, if you're getting bankrupt, you will not starve. You will get money enough so you can buy food and stay somewhere, right? But we don't get this from the beginning. That all right, go get it. As you there's so much of in the US, and I think that I have been a little too late. If I should done something wrong, if I should do something over, I would start early, because starting before you are married and have kids, I think that's a great advantage, because you will actually learn a lot from. You need to have this American attitude, as we see it. It's okay to fail. If you just done your best, it's okay to fail. Then you try again, and then eventually you will win, right? We don't have as much as that in Denmark, at least. Did you fail? What's the matter with you? But I think that you will actually learn a lot from doing things, do your best, and all right, something you didn't see that coming, and then all right, I'll try again next time, right? The earlier you get that experience, the better you become. If you have the ability to stand up again, of course.
Yeah, for sure. And I definitely wholeheartedly agree with that. I think maybe most times or oftentimes that first, I guess, business or maybe product isn't necessarily one that's going to kind of break through it. Sometimes it does, but it seems like oftentimes, at least as I see it, in the U.S., the people who are, especially like the billionaires and the people who are making a ton of money, they had to, like you said, keep getting up, keep failing, learning. Then at some point they kind of really hit it. So it seems like, definitely just kind of maybe keep being resilient. I think, as you say, and the younger you can do that, or the younger you do that, like you said before, maybe kids in a marriage, it's just easier to kind of bounce back from that. I know it's a little tougher when you start having kids and being married, just because it's a lot more on the line, whether it's your marriage or kids hating you because they can't do X, Y, and Z because we have no money or whatever the case may be. It's a little tougher to do it, but man, it's a number of people who still kind of make it work and have the support of the family. I'm not sure if you guys have Shark Tank. I know Shark Tank is in different places, but it was a Shark Tank episode. I review Shark Tank episodes as well, and kind of try to review it from an IP perspective. I was reviewing one this past weekend. It was a mom, and she had, I think, 4 kids, single mom, and she had sit down the kids and say, hey, I'm going to be all in on this product, which they end up selling, and the kids supported her, and they end up selling a house and moving into an apartment or a condo, and they end up kind of going all in, and it seems like it's kind of paying off. But after having 4 kids and doing that, again, I guess it's not impossible, but it's a little bit tougher. You need a little bit more support from, I guess, the family at that point, which that's interesting. I guess maybe just got the last couple of questions here. I know you talked about COVID being like almost bittersweet, because on one end, like, okay, what's going to happen with the company? With okay, we can't. I guess sports and athletic performances, they're maybe not using it as much, but then you're getting all these videos from people who have maybe health issues that are saying, hey, you saved my life. What would you say maybe with the company was the biggest challenge, and then maybe the thing that kind of took you to the next level, if that makes sense?
Yeah. We had a lot of challenges. When you have a product, when you want to make a product, there's a lot of different, like ours. You need to make the physical part. So you need an engineer to actually draw it and make the right resistance and design of it. Then we have the electronics inside. You need another engineer to make that design of that electronics. Then you have a third engineer to make the firmware, the software on the electronics. Then you need to have a fourth engineer to build the app. Then you need to have the fifth element would be all the experts to say, all right, what kind of trainings should we have? We have 17 different kind of training modalities, and that is built by all these experts. And then we need to tie them together, and then we need to have the connection between the device and the app. So that would maybe be 6 different tracks of development.
Yeah.
And I'm just a stupid singer, so I cannot develop anything, right? I know something about breathing training.
Yep.
Yeah, fine. But making construction, making electronics, making firmware, making software, I don't have a clue. And I don't have much money, right? So that was actually a really, really big hurdle to get to this, because if you just make, I say just, if you just make an app, what you need is an engineer who can make the code.
Yeah.
That is only one engineer. Maybe it's 2, but that's only one track. Here we had 6, maybe
right.
7 different tracks.
Yep.
And that was a really, really big hurdle. Then when you get investors in, and of course I needed that, when you have angels coming in, many angels typically have one exit. They were extremely good at one thing.
Yep.
Maybe lucky. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe it was lucky more than
I don't know.
Business.
They made it. That's fine. Great. Beautiful. They trusted in that we could do something beautiful. Great. But the problem is that they don't know of all these maybe 7 tracks. And when you have done that, you just have a product. You don't have a real company, because when it comes to make a real company, you need to make sales.
Yep.
And that's a completely different ball game. And that's at least as expensive as building it.
Yep.
So when you have people, for instance, in a board that have been making one exit, often they think, all right, I have made it. I made this. So how difficult can it be? Just do it like I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the business you made was completely different. Completely different. So it's fine. Maybe there can be some elements that you could transfer, some knowledge you could transfer, and say, all right, we can use some of this. But if you just try to make it a one-to-one, we just do it like I did, it just doesn't work.
Yep.
So that has really been difficult to making ends meet their expectations from investors that doesn't understand the space, and all those who should actually make a bits and bytes connect. That has been very difficult. But the breakthrough was, of course, when we actually had the first minimum viable product that we could sell.
Nice.
And actually users took it. That was.
I always say it has to be something magical with, I guess, creating something. And as you so eloquently explained, all the intricacies and the challenges that you have faced trying to kind of bring this ideal that you had and bring it to an actual product. But it seems like once that's done and people start buying that thing and start getting some results and some benefits from it, that has to be like a magical feeling at that point as an entrepreneur, as an inventor, a business owner.
Yeah. And so the next space was actually also related to the commercial part.
Okay.
Where I remember clearly the day where we actually had the same revenue coming in as our expenses. That was the day I could begin to, because then I didn't need to go out and get money all the time, right?
Yeah.
Because all right, now we've grown up.
Yeah.
We don't need the parents to give us money all the time.
Yeah.
Now we can actually stand on our own feet. And that was a great day.
I would imagine.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, yeah, then just maybe a few more questions on my end. So I guess any new products, I know that's the thing when you're kind of building a business and have a business. And I mean, I understand that you have a few different products with the AirFit Active and AirFit Pro 2.0, AirFit Essential. So is it any new products on the horizon? Because we all know how important that is to, I guess, the customer base want to see something new every once in a while that's coming out and kind of gives them, I guess, a boost of energy with regards to the company.
Yeah. So the new part is actually, we have talked a lot about it, but it's the AeroCure. So it's the MedTech part where it's certified as a MedTech device and app, and it's actually certified in Europe already. We are, of course, going for the US FDA as well.
Okay.
So that is because people have been buying it for medical purposes, but we have not been selling it for medical purposes because we cannot claim it from the Airofit perspective, because that's a wellness sports product. So that will the new product will I hope be a game changer, because we can begin to say what you already know, what data says, and what the study says. So that is we have just shown it to the public. Actually, we went to Germany last week, and we're presenting it there, and had a great welcome from the MedTech community. They thought it was great.
Nice.
And of course Germany is a big market because it's just beside, and it's the biggest market in Europe. But of course, US is the most important market for us. It's in sports, but it will also be in medtech. But we need to gain some more strength in order to go to US with the new product. But mentally we are ready, but we need a little funding.
I got you. That makes sense. No, I definitely understand that. Well, I guess maybe last two questions here. What advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs? I know you talked about being just an educated classical singer and maybe not knowing like the engineering, not having that experience, I should say, and you having two superpowers, that is resilience and recovery. What, I guess, advice would you give to aspiring entrepreneurs or someone who kind of wants to maybe go down this path and as they prepare and maybe try to get all the information that they can to go down the path? What would you say to those people?
Yeah, if you want to be, if you're married, tell your wife or husband or whatever it is, make her or him committed. We will do this.
I like that.
And because if you don't do that, you will hear from it until you have made an exit. You will hear from it.
I like
because that there will be tough days, and you need to have your whole team aligned. I didn't do that well enough, and that was that makes things more difficult. It's still difficult, but I think that I would do that. Then you need to be resilient, have the resilience, build resilience in yourself. Just believe that you can do it. Also, when you have a product, if it's okay, go to market.
Gotcha.
Don't wait till it's perfect.
Perfect. I like that.
Don't wait till it's perfect, because there will always be people with more money and more channels, as I said in the beginning, that are even more clever than you. They will go to the market before you, because if they see what you have, oh, that's great, we can do that. Yeah, we find 10 Chinese engineers. Poof.
Yeah.
Then you're not first mover anymore. So go to the market, and the product you come with to the market will not be perfect, but you will understand it when the users actually begin to interact with you. They will say, oh, but why is it doing like this? And couldn't we? And then you actually can make it better.
Yeah. They're going to give you that feedback anyway. It's going to change the product, as opposed to you trying to be perfect. And as you try to be perfect, it seems like you're saying it's going to change anyway once the customer gives you the feedback. So you have a working model, go to market and get that feedback sooner rather than later and make the changes. And
exactly. I don't know who said that. Maybe it was my grandmother. Maybe it was a clever philosopher. Said, perfect is the worst enemy of good. So,
like that.
You cannot, it will never be perfect. But if it's good, then go.
Nice. And I actually like the comment that you talked about, even with kind of making sure your spouse is on board and supporting. I was talking about doing the Shark Tank kind of breakdowns, and I'm starting to love when I see the husband and the wife, or your spouse, or your spouse kind of maybe in business, or kind of supporting you so much that she's in the business as well, because hopefully two people are aligned on the same page, as opposed to, like you said, one is going one way and the other is going the other way. And like you said, it just makes it a lot more tougher, particularly on the challenging days, because there will be challenging days. And if your spouse is not maybe on board or your biggest support, it seems like it could go downhill quick with that.
Exactly. And especially if you have kids, right? You're bound together, and getting separated or divorced or whatever. It's just very, very bad for yourself and for everything, and for the kids, and for also for the business. So just keep the team right.
I like that. So then I guess the last question is, how can people follow you, social media platforms? How can people purchase the product? Maybe share that a little bit with the audience as we wrap up here.
Yes, of course. So the product is on airofit.com, and we sell to the whole world. We sell directly to US from our own platform. I'm doing some posts on LinkedIn. Christian Poulsen, the only one in the world with that name. So I think
now that's unique for you.
That should be doable to find that. And of course, if some of your listeners, viewers have some questions, they're more than welcome to reach out, and I will, if I can, answer. Yeah.
No, nice. I appreciate that, definitely. And when the interview comes out, we'll definitely put that information, the LinkedIn and the website, in the description, so people can kind of click on that and check that out. This is great. You have me kind of rethinking about, I guess, even, I know I'm kind of still young, but as a 34-year-old gentleman trying to rethink, okay, I maybe need to get one of these things to kind of increase my lung capacity and making sure I'm breathing the right way and kind of reaping all those benefits, not just as I play basketball and work out, but just kind of the quality of life that you talked about that it seems like we take for granted, particularly with regards to our lung capacity, our lung strength, and things like that. So I'm going to definitely look to get one of these myself. Audience, please go check out the website. Check out the LinkedIn post. I know he said he posts on LinkedIn from time to time. And is it any? No. I know you're in Denmark there, so it's kind of no Instagram or I guess Twitter or any.
We have Airofit has a Facebook and an Instagram channel.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely put those in the
Yeah.
the description as well. Be important to go check out the
That's beautiful.
the Instagram post and a Facebook post. So audience, we had a good one today. And like I said, this is the first one from across the pond. So hopefully you got a lot out of it. He shared a lot of jewels with regard to entrepreneurship, and the product is fascinating. And it sounds like it's been proven to definitely work and help out not only athletic athletes and performers, but also just the everyday person, which is anytime I'm all about, especially as I kind of get older, about the quality of life and anything I can do to enhance that is I'm all for it. So go check it out, and till next time, audience, we'll see you later.